Over after this, there's something I want you to look at.
Nahum, are we on here? Is this good? Is this a go? Is this a green light? Okay. Thanks again to Work It for that deeply unsettling video. And now I'm embarrassed because I guess that was like probably as coarse as things are going to get tonight. A lot of shows don't work blue on the Harbinger network. Most of them are quite, it's a family show. It's more refined. It's more polite. And we got a couple big hitters on this segment, which is the Harbinger Society Presents, hosted by me, Andre Goulet, Executive Director at Harbinger Media Network. Jen Hassum is joining us from Cambridge, Ontario. She is the executive director of the Broadbent Institute. Kind of embarrassed now that we just played that video, but that's okay. Jen, hi, how are you doing? Can you take off mute?
Yes, no, it's cool. Just work it, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Gabrielle Brassard-Lecours, Ricochet co-founder and editor-in-chief of Ricochet French. Gabrielle is in Montreal, just like me. Gab, were you like deeply offended by that, or?
I have to admit I didn't watch because I just came out of a soccer game an half hour ago. That explains my wet hair. So sorry about that.
Well, this is a great transition into what we're actually talking about today, which is Montreal's little known but famous in certain circles leftist soccer league. Jen Hassum, that's right. Montreal has a leftist soccer league. Gab, what's the characteristic of that? Like, is it legitimately just leftists going and being competitive with each other?
Pretty much, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, we've expanded throughout the years, but yeah, it's pretty much leftist. So we're called, the People's League. So in French, it's La Ligue du Peuple. So it pretty much says it all.
Well, any other names I might have heard of? Who are some of your opponents in this league?
Well, we have Will Prosper, who's an activist for Black people in the neighborhood in Montreal. He's also presenting himself the next community elections we have coming up here in Quebec. Who else do we have? We have a ton of people. We have a lot of.
You got Mr. Martin Lukács from The Breach,
yes.
An earlier guest on this very stream. I don't know, yes. Gab and Jen, if you guys have been paying attention to this stream, but it's been like a nonstop cavalcade, if I may say, of just incredible guests. We had Rob Rousseau hosting the wonderful Martin Lukács off court, and Dr. Jessica Green from our Harbinger Board of Directors. Then Hillary Agro came on and spoke with Nora Loretto, which was super cool. We just had the wonderful Forgotten Corner hosting Senate candidate Duncan Kinney. And so it's been really exciting, but I have to say, Jen, it kind of looks like you're enjoying a bit of an exciting afternoon yourself. Are you like literally outside? That's not just a back screen?
Yeah, no, this is for real. This is for real.
Is that your backyard?
Well, I have 2 kids inside the house, and so this is the safest place to connect without many interruptions. Although Rob Russo broke the ice earlier today, and it was adorable to see his son come in and talk about bad guys. So if it happens, I know that you won't hold it against me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And for anyone who was watching earlier, who wasn't watching earlier in the stream, Rob's son was, I guess, like kind of confused about some bad guys in the Disney film Coco or something. And so Rob had to add some sort of parental guidance there, which was really cute. And it's those sort of moments that you just can't predict in live Twitch stream broadcasting. And Jen and Gab, I really appreciate you guys joining this stream today, because it is Harbinger's first time trying something kind of like ambitious like this. And it's been incredibly exciting putting it together behind the scenes with all our friends. And we have a lot of great content coming up as well later on. So I want to urge viewers to smash that donate button, even if you just have a few dollars. It really does help. We are a nonprofit that accepts no dark money and no corporate funding. We do depend on viewers and listeners like the people watching today. So if you can just spare a couple loonies, or if you're an American viewer, a couple greenbacks, we will really appreciate it, and it will definitely go to good use. So Jen, I spoke with you just a few weeks ago. It seems like a lifetime because it was right before the writ was
The
dropped
election.
for this federal election. And at that time, you were in a slightly different position than you are now. You were the publisher of Press Progress. But like, what's this new job? I don't understand. What is this? What are you doing?
Yeah, a thing happened. And I'm now the executive director of the Broadbent Institute itself. I'm still also the publisher at Press Progress, and I'll hold both roles for the time being. But yeah, it's really exciting. So amongst all of the change that's occurring, there's also some change happening at the organization.
Okay, amazing. Cool. Well, yeah, so it's so fantastic, and yeah, congratulations. It is super exciting.
Thanks.
Gabrielle, you also have started a kinda new position because you were teaching journalism via Zoom for your inaugural year as a professor, and now you're doing face-to-face journalism teaching to Concordia University undergrads, or what? How was the first week of class? How's it going?
Yeah, so I'm teaching mostly undergrads, so the basics of journalism. They're all fresh, and it's been great. Honestly, it's no comparison to teaching online. It's great having them, in front of my my face, and we just hope that it's gonna last. And it's not sure at all, but. We'll take it while it's there and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny how there's like this secret guest villain appearing on the telethon today, which is just sort of like, actually two, I guess, pandemic panic, and then also the stupid election. But this is a telethon about the election, and I guess I'm wondering, Jen, how does the Broadbent Institute engage or not engage with elections? Because for someone who's like a civilian, I mean, I don't always completely understand what they do, although often I do like what the BI does. Yeah, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, totally. So basically, if the key question here is like, what is the Broadbent Institute? Like, what is it? What does it do? And so what I'll say is who's our constituency, and then what's our theory of change, and then how do we engage with that? So if you're listening right now and you're thinking that there's an underlying thing that is corrupting our society, our environment, and so we've spoken a lot about issues today on the Twitch stream, but that if you're thinking that market capitalism shouldn't determine the society we live in or the environment that we live in, then you're our people. You are our people. And so that's everything from center left liberals to people who are identify as socialists. So this is the constituency from which we work. And I think in terms of the theory of change that we operate under, Joel French wrote a fantastic passage article. And I actually brought a piece to read from it. Mm-hmm. And he says that people who are elected need support from civil society, social movements, labor movements, and a healthy media ecosystem. And with the help of being powerful enough to aid the government as it takes steps towards transformation, because there's likely going to be a conservative reaction that would come to bear. I'd say maybe edit out the word likely, there would. any kind of big transformation, there would. And so what results from this balance of forces then determines what's possible. What kind of social change is possible is the result of this struggle that Joel outlined. And yeah, that's what we want to do, is that we want to create conditions to support people who want to bravely step up in these areas: electoral, social movements, labor, and media. And so how we do that is through training, through policy, through our own support of media networks. And like another sort of key part is this convening of our annual summit, which wasn't able to occur this year, where everyone from all of these different facets of who makes up this constituency coming together. And so we don't always agree on everything. Like the big left family doesn't always agree on everything, but we ought to be talking to one another, and we ought to be looking to support and lift up one another where we can. And so that's really what we do, who we are, what our theory of change is in a nutshell.
I love that, and I think there has to be a lot of things going on the left to sort of like have forward momentum, and of course we are up against not only far right influences in Canada, but also just the sort of like really beige, lazy, centrist
Yeah.
nonsense that we see from our government, and we might be talking a little bit about the election later, but not quite yet. Okay, so Jen, thank you. That demystifies a little bit. And Joel French, I think, is Public Interest Alberta. Is that right?
I mean, I don't know. He
You
was
don't know?
an
Okay.
article in Passage.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I interviewed him years ago when he was working for some organization in Edmonton. So, yeah, he is someone who I definitely respect his sort of angle. And he actually,
I'll tweet it out. I'll tweet it out.
yeah,
Or
totally.
here, I'll share with your producer if he wants to share in the Twitch feed.
And folks can also definitely follow Jen on Twitter at Jen Hassum, and Gabrielle at Gab RL123, I think, or something like that. We'll share that at the end, Gab. Okay, but I wanted to say Joel French. I'm not sure actually if he is bilingual. His last name might be misleading, but he did have some articles published on Ricochet English just even a couple years ago. So I'm also familiar with him through that. But Gab, you're the editor-in-chief at Ricochet Français, which is now in its 6th year. So before we get to what I wanted to talk about, which is like the new media project that you guys are involved in, I guess I wanted to ask you, Gab, like how Ricochet as a journalism platform has been covering this election on the ground, like from Quebec, with the freelance journalists you have writing for Ricochet.
Well, we've been, honestly, we haven't covered it in written form as much as other election, partly because it's quite a boring election, we have to admit. And I mean, I feel like nobody, really wanted that election, and we've seen it in the debates, right? Like even the other chiefs, didn't want it. So we've been covering some kind of local angles, some neighborhoods where there might be a little fight, between representatives, but we have been mostly doing a podcast. Because we love podcasts. And so we have launched an electoral one a few years back. So we started with a federal election, actually, with the last one, the 2019 one. And then we did 2 other seasons. We did one about international issues that was a bit cut back because of the pandemic. And then we did one last year about the American one. And now we're back this fall, well, end of summer and fall. So we've been covering the election mostly from that perspective, having guests on.
Gab, I have to tell you a total coincidence. I was actually producing episode 5 of Le Plancher des Vaches last night at 9 p.m. so that I wouldn't have to worry about it today with the stream. That's right, folks. Just another example of nepotism. I am the producer of Ricochet's Le Plancher des Vaches, but I don't think it's nepotism. Like, I mean, obviously it's not nepotism because we're not family, but we're a different kind of family, which is that we are independent media people. And it's amazing how there can be these sorts of connections where, I mean, like,
Sure.
yeah, I do stuff with Ricochet and also executive director at Harbinger. But then I think this is where we're going to start to get to what I wanted to really talk to you guys about. But let me kind of present it like this. Incidentally, you guys are friends with, like, Quebec has basically 2 French language left spaces. One is Ricochet and one is Majeur. So what is Majeur, Gab, or Jen? And then how does it differ from Ricochet?
Well, Majeur is a brand new media. It's been, it's launched last year, so it has, 1 year of existence, and it was really focused on really short news. They were news, but they were mostly mashups of leftist ideas that were in other kind of news pieces. So I think the goal was just to highlight what leftist things were coming out of the other medias, basically. And so it was the the prime goal, I think. And then it became more kind of journalistic. So, the people at Major started calling people to do interviews and to do, they were really focused on, doing daily news, which is a bit different from us because, since we're older, we are celebrating our 7th year actually this year at the beginning of October. And we've, since we've always been working with freelancers, we haven't been able to do daily news, really hard one. And it wasn't our goal because we figured, other media were doing that. But we do feel like, the more daily news you make, the more circulation you have, the more big audience you have. So the mix of both is a good idea. And yeah.
Yes, and so if Ricochet is sort of sometimes longer form and sometimes more investigative kind of journalism, Majel began as an almost like BuzzFeed kind of just like big, like sharp hits, like pushy, punchy, aggressive, and then they sort of like expanded and mellowed or kind of changed their direction a bit. But when I heard from you guys what was happening, I was super stoked because it just shocked me. And Jen, let's now put your hat on as Press Progress publisher again.
Yes. Yes.
So now back to the Press Progress rule. Tell me a little bit about the origins of what happened? Something
happened?
Occurred. Yeah.
I mean, it's actually like this is exactly why, Andre. If anyone's listening right now and you're thinking, how does Harbinger add to the ecosystem in Quebec? Like, this is it. Hit that button, donate right now, because Andre is bringing people together. And so in a very real way, Press Progress was looking to partner with Quebec media, and because like we are really like we're Anglophone, we're focused on the rest of Canada, and so people said, like, how about you reach out to Major, because Press Progress is short, succinct. We believe in a mass audience, and we don't do any kind of analysis or not analysis, I should say, no op-eds, right? So we do analysis, but we're not intending to do these kinds of op-eds. We're looking to speak to the masses, like a mass audience, short, succinctly on digital. And so Major was seen as like, collaborate with them. They're your natural allies. But as soon as we started speaking with Major, the folks at Major really got excited about working on a project. And then, lo and behold, came back with to introduce me to Gabrielle. And then the 3 of our outlets started to talk. And so that's really the origin story is this beautiful ecosystem that's like resulting of the left coming together. And absolutely, Harbinger was part of that. I believe that's part of the story is I could come to Andre and say, like, what do you think of this? And he's like, these are your people. Like, you don't know them, you don't know Gabrielle, you don't know Simon, but they're your people. And that can really give us the confidence to come together. And so again, if you're thinking right now, why is Harbinger a special place? It's more than just podcasts. This is a real group of people coming together, right? And you're part of it.
Jen, I appreciate that so much, and I love how you're sort of characterizing that. And it's such it's an exciting story. Like, I'm still thrilled just like hearing you guys talk about it. But
it's true.
But I understand this too. Before we came on the stream, you explained to me that we weren't going to announce the name unless we get 5 new contributions from people donating on the stream. So we're going to kind of see if that plays out in the next 25 minutes. We have a little bit of time before
That's a great idea.
Before we continue on, before we have to continue on with the next block, I do want to mention too that just with Press Progress, where Jen is the publisher, we can look forward to catching 2 of their just ace reporters, Emily Leadham and Stephen Maguziak, who will be joining Jeremy Appel and Marino Greco on a very special Big Shiny Takes that's coming up at 6 p.m. So it's super exciting. It's a shame we can't say the name. I'm super curious. Like, I want to know so badly. So I urge people to smash
donate.
Just smash the donate button, Gab. That's right. So I guess, Gab, maybe you could tell me a little bit about what is the goal? Like, so why would you guys want to do this sort of trio, why would you want to team up? I guess it makes you stronger, or what?
Yeah, for sure. I think there are several goals, but us at Ricochet, we've always been partisans of working together. We haven't felt like we're in competition with other media, and it's mostly the other media that don't really want to collaborate with us. But we've always been super open to do that. And yes, of course, together we're stronger for sure. We're very complementary, because Major does more daily news. Us, we do longer investigation, and then Press Progress comes in the middle of that and wants to be covering some Quebec issues. So we're the perfect platform to do that. And putting our money together is great, because we're hiring now four journalists actually, and we haven't been able to do that in all of the years of existence. So that's great. We'll have a daily and stable team. Hopefully we will raise some money to keep that team on, but it's for us, it's a big step forward. So that's amazing. And also there's like a more administrative, I guess, goal, which is to be able to get our hands on credits. That there's a program on the federal and provincial level that's been in place for a few years, giving money on the salary masses of our workforce. And we want to get that money. So
basically it's like there's some wage subsidy stuff from, I think, the Quebec government, like a small stipend from Press Progress, some money from, is it the Metalo? Is it the steelworkers?
No, well, we haven't sat down yet with the unions, but
okay, I'm saying too much. Anyway, suffice to say, there's things coming together which allows for sort of like a budget, which is actually
just like you, we are gonna do kind of a crowdfunding, video of launching that. That's we're working really hard to put together. So we're working on everything, but we're.
Jen,
it's more than just like readers and listeners. It's more than just a business development project. We're also sharing strategies in a very, very real way. And so we're going to be, for example, as we level up our own products at Press Progress, we're going to be sharing our resources with this new entity, right? So if we're going to bring in somebody to coach us on how to do the best email newsletters, then we're going to share those resources with our partner outlet in Quebec. And so there's real cost savings that can be had when we are sharing our learnings and our resources amongst each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is so exciting. So really it is just coming together to sort of become stronger, which I think is sort of one of the tricks, one of the secrets about left media, is just finding ways to kind of scale up, because we don't have the either like big money like owner, or in the case of Post Media, just getting like massive payouts and bailouts from the federal government to put out just like absolute garbage. So for something like Harbinger, we depend on listener and viewer support. I know, Gabrielle, for Ricochet, it was 6 years of depending on just supporters, people who appreciated the work that was being done, but it means that like there's a lot of unpaid work and a lot of volunteer labor, and we do it because we're passionate about it and because we care about it a lot. But it's wonderful when it can sort of scale up and become a little more professionalized. And then, Gab, just to sort of put a bow on it, like Ricochet will then become sort of archived. People can still access the French Ricochet content, so it doesn't actually disappear. It just sort of let's say pivots to another direction.
Yeah, we'll have a transition time, I think. So we're probably gonna put up, a pop-up when we get on the Ricochet French side, French website, saying, our new content is on that new platform. And on the new platform, there'll be some button to get to our archive. So just that we don't lose everything we've been doing for the past years. but it's exciting, like Jen says, it's really exciting to come together to do that thing and sharing, so much content and just be able to do what we've been doing, but better and stronger. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
Without work, but it's exciting.
Well, and like Rob Rousseau was saying in the chat, we need to support struggling independent media like the Toronto Sun, like the National Post, like the Edmonton Journal, like the Calgary Sun, like the Calgary Herald, like the Edmonton Sun, like the Vancouver Sun, basically most of the media outlets in Canada. So yeah, the work that you guys are doing is just incredibly exciting. One last note on that, Jen, I guess, like what's the thing that is most exciting about this new initiative for you?
I think it's just, the landscape of it. Like not only do I think that like this is going to be a force, like can you imagine the coming together of these forces? But I think that also there is a huge untapped digital media audience in Quebec, of mainstream digital audience in Quebec that is going to like the tone and the look and the delivery of digital media. And so like this is something that is actually going to be extremely advantageous to the project. And so to have big names, like Gabrielle, who are on board and who are steering this is like, it's just so incredible. And so I think that we're going to see a brand new voice and brand new space open up in Quebec.
Exactly. And Gab, what's maybe one thing that you are super excited about?
Everything, honestly. It's just I'm a big media nerd, and I'm always excited to see new initiative, because I think that especially on the left side, it's not like we're dominating the public space. So the more the stronger we can be progressive media, the better. So this is just doing a new thing is exciting, and it's even if it's a lot of time, but it's really stimulating. And I've been working with the team also. This is very new for me. I've been holding French Ricochet pretty much with not a lot of people. Like seeing people so motivated and having a close team that we're going all forward together. It's very stimulating.
Absolutely. And I know that when I come into the co-working space where we record Le Plancher des Vaches podcast, getting to just sort of like come together and hang out with Ludwig Moquet-Baudry and Julie Dufal is so exciting. Folks should really check out season 4 of Le Plancher des Vaches, available wherever you get your podcasts, where we are covering this godforsaken federal election. So folks, it's not a good time. It's not, it's not exciting, as I think Gab said earlier. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not fun. But something that would be fun would be to just have a little dessert right now, to have a little snack. I'm hoping producer Nahum Man can share the screen. If he can't, that's okay. I'm just going to try to describe what I'm looking at right now. Gab, try to place this, okay? And I'm doing this because we are waiting for just 4 more donations before we can finally reveal the name of this new media initiative. It's so exciting. I can't wait to tell people. Just 4 more people need to just smash the donate button. Just, even $1 or $2, everything helps. We would appreciate it so much. Gab, this might be easier for you to guess than Jennifer, but let's see, okay? So imagine a delicious sponge cake with vanilla flavored cream filling, coated in a chocolatey layer. Typically it comes in a box of 6. Gabrielle, what am I talking about? What could I be talking about? You could walk down to the dépanneur right now. You could just go grab a box. What could it be?
And a dépanneur?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was something fancier than that.
I'm afraid not. What could it be? Any idea? Can I give you another hint?
Yeah, go ahead.
Named after, I believe, a famous
boxer.
Okay, Jen knows.
Jen, Louis.
I'm on the stream, so I need to like.
I'm not on the. Yeah.
Oh, so Jen saw it. Yeah, so Gab, it's on this, it's on the screen. Viewers can see. For American viewers, this is a Canadian kind of a delicacy. It's very expensive.
Very
For a
good.
box of Joe Louis, it's about $40 for 6 of them, and it tastes wonderful. It's just a wonderful taste.
Yeah.
So, Jen, I'd like you to maybe, great guess by the way. I'd like you to maybe describe for me, what are we looking at here? The Joe Louis burger. What's that?
The Joe Louis.
Do you see
Well,
this?
I do see it.
Mhm.
First of all, Joe Louis, Vachon, some of that is made right here in my hometown, Cambridge, Ontario. We also
Wow.
have Lay's. They're
Mhm.
unionized. So
Okay.
really, if you buy a Joe Louis, you're supporting good jobs. So
Oh,
these
excellent.
are good jobs. So it's the Joe Louis burger. I see it now on the screen.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It looks amazing, and good jobs, and a good snack. Basically, to prepare it, you just cut a Joe Louis in half, like lengthwise, not like a half moon. You cover the bottom half with chocolate ice cream. Put some kiwi in there. You put some jam. Strawberry jam is what they recommend, but I guess it could be anything. You close the cake. Amazing. You have a Joe Louis burger. Gab, you can't see it because you're not watching the stream, but just imagining that.
Yeah, well, how can I watch it? I want to watch
Put
it.
some fruit in the middle of a Joe Louis. This is an innovation.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is a huge innovation. I may try this. I also just recently learned that you can get a sausage McMuffin at McDonald's and order a second patty, and that is life-changing for me. Like,
Not you. Yeah, not
why am
yeah.
I not doubling up on my patties?
That's true.
And this is similar. This is an innovation.
This is an innovation. I love though that Vachon, who produced Joe Louis and many other great snack treats, are unionized. That's definitely a no guilt purchase. Gab, you just go to where the Twitch stream is happening, and you can go and you can watch it. But you guys, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, if we ate this, probably it would get all over our fingers. And then we'd be in a sticky situation. But that we're not the only people who could potentially be in a sticky situation. You see, Canada is in a bit of a sticky situation right now with election 44. According to the latest polling, Gabrielle, we're seeing a tight race between the Liberals and the Conservative Party. It is at about 32 and 32. So I guess my question for you, Jen, is it costs about $600 million to run an election. Doing it during a pandemic is kind of stressful for people. But to me, it seems worth it. What do you think?
Is it worth it? I mean, this is the system that we have in front of us, where advisors around Justin Trudeau said, call the election. And so he did. But, every opportunity that people have in order to have agency and find their own power is good. That is good by me. So, one of the things that I'm looking forward to after this election is we're going to try at the Broadbent Institute is to capture all of the energy that thousands and thousands and thousands of people are taking right now, leftists, in this election at the political parties of their choice. And we're going to do a big debrief, a big survey with people who volunteered or engaged in the election. And we're going to try to also in that space say, stay involved in between elections, get involved in robust social movements, get involved in, where you live, your community, your building. If there's a tenants union or there isn't, try to make one. And this is how we can flex power in between elections. And so it could be the case that, Parliament in such a way stays like more or less the status quo reigns or gets worse. But what we can do is do what we can to try and build from any sort of like left infrastructure that people have built around this election and hold on to it by making the case that people need to get involved and plugged in outside of election periods.
And I really like, just circling back to what we were talking about earlier, feel like it's such a strength to be able to make connections between organizing work that's done through Broadbent. And some people would say, well, I'm not into the NDP, so I don't like what they do. But it's like, well, you know, it's good if there can be some connections between independent media and the work being done there. Like, this is a positive thing, because you know, the right wings kind of got it figured out. They definitely
absolutely have it figured out.
Power. So trying to find ways to cooperate and collaborate, I think, is really important. We had this Harbinger picnic in Toronto a few weeks ago, and we like convened just to get together, and we got to meet for the first time, and it was really cool in this park called Christie Pitts near Koreatown. And if people listen to my recent episode of Harbinger Society, we did some interviews with our community that was there. But we also interviewed the Wobblies, because the industrial workers of the world were having their picnic right next to us. There was a food security group having a picnic next to them. And there was a prison abolition group on the other side of the park having another picnic. And it was just like so cool to make these connections with people who are just kind of like-minded. And yeah, I just feel like that's so important. Gabrielle, kind of the same way that you guys, a bunch of leftists play soccer every Saturday in Montreal and make connections that way and like network with each other that way. Okay, before we begin to wrap up here, I gotta say we have about 7 minutes left. We need just 3 more donations. If just 3 more people smash that donate button, we can make it happen, and we can finally announce the top secret name of the new media initiative happening from Majel, Ricochet, and Press Progress. So Gab, to you, what is the best case outcome of this stupid election that nobody wanted and that made everybody mad? Best case. Trudeau majority. No.
It's not gonna happen. I think that we're gonna be.
And I was joking. Sorry. Yeah.
We're gonna be exactly at the same point. It's gonna be liberal minority, and it'll be an election that'll cost us like billions of dollars for absolutely nothing.
600
at the same place.
$500 to $600 million. But I think you're right. Like, it could literally just be complete status quo. But in this situation, is that the best case?
Well, no, the best case would be to have a leftist government. I mean,
right.
No, that would be the best case scenario. But yeah, and you know, in Quebec, like as soon as there's like a conservative threat, it's really helpful for the Liberal, because you know people are scared of conservatives coming in, so they're gonna be voting for, you know, it's. I think our system is really like making us vote in a strategic way, and I hate that.
Wait a minute, Gabrielle, I hear you, but I have some really good news. I don't know if you guys caught this today. This is incredible. This is amazing. Jen Hassum, maybe you heard this. This is a headline from CTV News. Trudeau says he remains open to electoral reform if Liberals reelected. This totally made my day. This was incredibly exciting. Yeah.
Every elected, they always say that, and they never do it once they're in power.
Jen, do you feel confident in Prime Minister Trudeau's sort of signaling towards this trial balloon once more?
Yeah, you know, the election is bullshit when all of the different initiatives and promises that are coming out of the Liberal campaign, they could have just passed under their existing minority government. And that would have given some leverage for the NDP in order to make those proposals even better. So the fact that he's gambling with universal childcare, electoral reform, pharmacare, these are things that people literally need. Like, we need these things. And to gamble everything around an election is terrible. And so even if things don't change in terms of the makeup of Parliament, I think things have changed in people's fundamental minds. And that, in essence, I think that Trudeau has lost some soft power. I wonder if the Liberal strategists are going to name names of who recommended this election in the first place. And I wonder if there's going to be people who are out to try and create like leadership campaigns against Trudeau. So the what seats amount from this election, I think that there's actually a space here where the left is building power in this election. But it may not translate into seats. It may translate, you know, amongst sort of the mentality of a mass population. It can translate into boots on the ground for candidates
Um, yeah, Jen, are you still there? Okay, if Jen comes back, Gab, that point was making a lot of sense to me. And Jen, thank you for just kind of putting a bit of a hopeful spin on what's been a very hopeless election, and the idea of soft power diminishing for the ruling government, which have just been like not great.
My hope for that election is that we elect more NPD, people in Quebec, because we only have one. But I mean, we can complain about the English debate moderator, but she was kind of right. I mean, Quebec is racist, and so is not ready to vote, for the NPD leader. But I'm still hoping that we elect a few more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't get into that, Jen. Jen's back. We didn't get into the whole brouhaha over Sashi Curl's hosting of the singular English language debate. But it sucked. We don't need to get into it too much. But Jen, I was just saying when you dropped off that thank you for putting a kind of positive spin and sort of imagining some things that are actually potentially good about what has been a really grim election and really just like twisted, honestly, cynical, awful, gross election. So thank you.
Oh, and absolutely, I believe those things too.
Totally.
Totally.
But finding some sort of like, I don't know, just optimism and hopeful way of looking at things, I think is important too. But you guys, speaking of hopeful, viewers don't have to be hopeful that they can find out the name, because we hit our goal. We got 5 new supporters. Thank you so much to viewers who have come through for us. Okay, I'm gonna ask Jen. I'm gonna ask you to spell it, and I'm gonna ask Gab to say it. Jen, how do you spell the name of the new media org?
PIVOT.
So, I mean, to me that's pivot, but Gab, it's gonna be in French. So what's it actually gonna be called?
Pivot. It's the same thing.
Okay, so to pivot from one to another. I love it.
Yes, I like it too. I think it's a nice wing to Ricochet, because it's like after Ricochet we're pivoting. So
when does it drop approximately?
Approximately beginning of October.
Okay, right around the corner.
But we are launching to cover the municipal election here in Quebec. So, to the latest, beginning of October. We're working really hard every day, every hour.
It's happening soon. Wonderful. Gabrielle Brassard-Lecours, co-founder of Ricochet and editor-in-chief of Ricochet Français. Jen Hassum, publisher of Press Progress and executive director of Broadbent Institute. That's super cool. We are going to check out now, and I'm going to ask viewers to stay tuned for Big Shiny Takes coming up right away with Press Progress's Emily Leadham and Stephen Maguziak. This is really exciting. I'm going to stick around to watch that. Actually, I'm sticking around for the whole day, so I'm going to be here till midnight. And viewers, I'm going to see you back at 8 p.m. with Alex Kosh, your other colleague from Press Progress, former BC Press Progress guy. Now he's running the Maple. And Kevin Tagabon from Hoser Media with Kai Nagata. That's happening at 8 p.m. We also got Gender Troubles, Eva and Emma from Gender Troubles stopping by. But now, folks, this is one of the YouTube shows on the Harbinger Media Network. Jacob Pollak is a social worker in the nation's capital in Ottawa. His show PropaGanada is available on YouTube. It's fantastic. We're going to play this amazing song that he wrote that is basically a satirical song about loving billionaires. I love it. And then there's going to be a little promo about his show after that. Stay tuned for Big Shiny Takes coming up in about 5 minutes. Jen, Gabrielle, thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much for having us. That was cool. Thanks so much.
To thrive, housing and food and clean water we'll gladly deny. We'll forget expectations of leading fulfilled profit to add to their pile.
I don't even know how this works.
Overlords, we will struggle daily, so you might afford to plunder the world, having imperialist fun. We will keep you safe from the dirty hands of socialist scum. We're thinking fondly of the hoarders of gold. Let's privatize schools, hydro, healthcare, and roads. Oh, the profit incentive will henceforth guide us. Please take over governmental power. We won't make a fuss. The Thompsons, the Irvings, the Westons, please hear, we'll never abandon you. You must not have fear. With pain and hunger, we shall polish your crowns, and hoping that some little bit of your wealth might come trickling down. We deeply love you, billionaires. Tell us how to live, surveil our behaviors, and never forgive if we challenge your power or get out of line. The sadomasochistic relationship is akin to divine. We care about our billionaires, we want them to thrive.